Well, hello again to the podcast of Open Jars, No Lids, No Limits with Kin
Hi, everyone. My name is Kin.
and Arek. As you know, my name is Arek. It's short from Arkadiusz. So, a little bit about ourselves. I have been working in 20 years in Eastern Europe for different distributors and EMS companies. And, now we have this beautiful podcast with Kin when we talk a little bit more about the AI. And, Kin, maybe a few words about your expertise knowledge, sir?
Thank you, Eric. My name is Kin. Again, I'm actually located in Canada. I've been working in passionately in manufacturing industry for more than 30 years. And I'm a lifelong learner. And one of the things I really enjoy is sharing ideas and thoughts and things that I've learned along the way with my peers. So I'm hoping that through this podcast, we're able to reach out to a bigger audience and really share a lot of that knowledge.
Oh yes. And I would say I am the lifelong learner of your knowledge, so you're more of a preacher to me. But Kin, we
Thank you.
talked a little bit on the AI in general. Then we talked about the AI versus HI, and then we dive a little bit. We barely touched the tools. So we mentioned a couple of tools. We look at some cases, how we can use it, what is going on, what is the good use of it, what is the bad use. But we just talked about it. Is there any way that you could maybe show some things to us and maybe we could do a little bit deeper dive onto this matter?
Yes, of course. Well, last episode we actually talked a little bit more about fax machines than we did talk about AI tools. So I'm not going to demonstrate a fax machine today, but with a lot of companies that I've been in contact recently, and probably yourself as well, Eric. A lot of companies in manufacturing have questions about how do we even get started with
Hmm.
using AI in our tools? Do we need to hire an AI expert? Do we need to hire our own programmers? I think the answer there is a clear no. I mean, AI is a very accessible technology, unlike the technologies of yesteryears that I've experienced. Going from the fax machine to the email was a huge jump for a lot of companies back in the days.
Hmm.
From paper forms to cloud computing was often a huge jump. But AI is one of these tools I find amazingly is so easily accessible that it just makes life so much simpler with a little bit of effort. And maybe we'll go through some examples today, shall we, Eric, to
Yes,
show maybe how we might use that?
yes, please. That would be phenomenal if we could look at something real life.
Sure. Well, Eric, I know you do a lot of work with sales teams in your practice. What is the one biggest challenge that you often have when it comes to doing your sales work? How do you find your new customer?
Let me guess. Yeah, the finding the customer. This is the number one priority for us for sure. And then there are some other tools that we are using, but I'm very eager to see what your AI can do for us on that matter.
Yeah, so one of the easiest tools that I found in my practice is to use a general GPT, LLM model,
Hmm.
to just simply help you draft that outreach email. So let me go through an example of this. This part's going to be edited out, of course.
Okay, I thought it will be like quiet.
So
Open Jar
I've
goes
just pulled up.
interactive.
I've just pulled up Google Gemini here for everyone to see. So I've just pulled up Google Gemini here for everyone to see. This is a you've probably seen this. We've got our own version, which is Pro, but it doesn't need to be any special ones. Even the free version of Gemini can do this
Hmm.
extremely well. So what I'm going to do is just going to be putting in a prompt here. So in my prompt, I'm going to say to the AI, think like a sales executive in an electronics manufacturing service company seeking out new clients. Write me a persuasive email to capture the attention and interest of a client. I'm going to use an example of in the EV industry to consider using our full turnkey manufacturing service to produce their EV charging equipment with great quality, highest reliability, and best value in the supply chain in terms of cost and dependable delivery timeframe. I think this prompt um, strikes a lot of strings and in a lot of manufacturing sales professionals' heart because this is pretty much encompasses everything you want to find in a customer if you're looking for a customer in the EV charging industry.
Hmm.
And let's see what the AI comes up with. So I'm going to click submit to the AI, and Gemini is thinking, and in a moment, it comes up with this email for me. And it reads, subject, accelerating your EV charging production and reducing costs. Here, fill in the client name. I'm reaching out for you from whatever your company name is, a leading electronics manufacturing service partner with deep experience in producing high reliability equipment for fast growing industries. So here at this point, I'm thinking, how does the AI know that I'm producing high reliability equipment for fast growing industries? So these are some of the things that really help you come up with some very powerful, strong words that the AI is very good at doing. So the letter continues, we've been closely following the impressive growth of your client's company name and the significant impact of that you're making in the EV charging space. As the demand for electric vehicles surges, scaling production efficiently and maintaining quality and control is a key challenge. I'm going to skip a little bit down here. It starts to explain how by partnering with us, you can expect exceptional quality and reliability, and highlights we build your equipment to meet the highest industry standards. This might be where you might substitute the words highest industry standards with IATF 16949 or some known quality systems, right? Optimize supply chain costs. Our expertise and global network provide you with significant cost advantage by securing the best value for critical components. And you can say, such as, I don't know, FETs or transformers or whatever. Like you can expand on this. But the point here in this email is this is now AI with just a simple passage of entering this prompt, which I gave me a pretty powerful email. That's probably going to get attention. Honestly, Eric, I don't know about you, but I would easily take maybe half a day to draft an email like this myself. How would you go about doing this if you didn't have AI?
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing as you're saying, researching and trying to find the proper words, and will that be okay or not? And here with 2 clicks, you had the quick answer, and that's also it's not the DeepMind model, it's just the general version, so it's also very nice. And the other thing that I really like about it is with another prompt, you can immediately switch it into another language. So that's something that I use quite a lot. Yeah. And this
That's
is
right. When
it's
you're
quite good.
working in your part of the world where you're going to be likely conversing with your clients in different languages,
Yep.
having the AI produce those in your native language to speak to your customers is very powerful. This is really transformational when it comes to conducting more international trade, which is very important.
Agree. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to just stop this share now. We're going to edit out this part as well.
There is this part we will edit out as well. And you're saying that it will not find the customers when you will say this thing. I would like to mention that there are tools right now that can do it as well. So that would be nice. Okay, that was quite good. But is it solving all of our problems here, or do we have anything else to do?
Well, writing emails is certainly a big time saver, as we've talked about.
Mhm.
I mean, there are other areas certainly in manufacturing that an AI can really help. One of the things that I've always found in working with engineering teams is just sifting through the vast amount of data, especially now as a lot of companies move into Industry 4.0
Mhm.
and really start to collect a lot of data from their equipment, from their machines, from the IoTs they've deployed. How would one go into working with the vast amount of data that they might be looking at? So I'm going to show you an example here of how one might be looking at a very quick way to analyze a huge amount of data very quickly.
Okay.
I've got an example file here of just some random manufacturing data. This is data that's been collected over I think a number of weeks. Let me see. So through most of August, this data that's collected, by the minute, by the second, of some voltage and current reading from a particular station number. So, this is good example data. The data does expand almost over 1,000 lines of data right here. Okay. So one of the things that you see on my screen here is this Ask Gemini button up at the upper
Okay.
right.
So we're staying within the tool. We don't need to move to
Yeah,
an
so
LLM.
this is Google
Okay.
Sheets that I'm running. While I'm running Google Sheets, of course, if you're more of a Microsoft-based
Copilot.
organization, you
Mhm.
would be using Excel, and Excel has a similar thing. You do have to pay for this level of AI integration, but in Excel, you would have a Microsoft version of Copilot, which can do a very similar thing. So as when I click the Gemini button, it comes up and it says, this right away, Gemini offers, I could summarize this table for you. Is that what you want? I could generate a chart. I can analyze this for insight, and do other things. So I might just put in a prompt, something like this. Show me the lowest voltage reading and what time it occurs. So right away you can see that it comes up with the answer pretty quickly. Now I could probably write a simple formula to look for the lowest and report on that, but again, just thinking about it, what is the lowest voltage reading on August 12th? To simply ask it a simple question and get the answer very quickly like this is a very much of a time saver for any data analyst. And some people would say, well, again, a lot, any Excel expert or spreadsheet, experienced person can do this. Yes, of course, but this is something that anyone can ask those questions. You don't have to be an expert in Excel and know how to write Excel formulas or Google Sheets formulas. So this is a really transformational way to look at data in a different way. I'm going to give you another example. Chart this data to show the voltage variation. I can't spell. So again, I just ask the AI, just show me a chart. And AI will come up and show me that voltage variation over time in terms of a graph. So you can see that this data is pretty random, which is how it was intended. But, think about how easy that was. I know, Eric, you sometimes have pain points when it comes to looking through and sifting through a lot of your customers' data. Is this going to be helpful with what you would do?
I probably for the moment I would still stay with my filtering and with my data analysis. But as you said, it's really a different approach to it, because instead of which formula do I need to use? How do I sort the data to find what I want? I just ask the question and then I have the answer immediately. So yeah, that's definitely a different approach to it.
One of my colleagues actually pointed this out was, wow, while this might not be a super time saver like we did with writing the sales email, this is an actual huge cost saver to some companies, because for some of the smaller manufacturing operation facilities, they may not be able to have a data analyst on staff, or they may only have the engineering team or the technical team who know this kind of Excel analysis. I mean, I can actually just give this raw data to, even I'm not going to say I'm going to get a production person to do it, but let's say my production lead. But my production lead was not hired for the merits of data analysis or Excel skills, but I say, hey, just throw this in this file and ask these questions. Find me the answers. I could put this power in the hands of anybody who just knows how to type something in. And I think that's the real liberating part of employing AI like this, to really expand the abilities of your team, however big or small it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. And with that specific example for me is, as we are moving from Excel to Google Sheets, there is not everything that I use in Excel works one-to-one in Google Sheets. So I am using AI to just kind of tell me, hey, how do I do that? Or show me the steps. So definitely this is a pretty good tool. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. But you are doing all of those activities now on the website. So is it publicly available? Is AI reading your data right now and storing it somewhere, or how does it work?
That's a very good question. Yes, there is potentially that problem of whenever you put any sort of information into an LLM, AI model, that data might be shared and go beyond your control. There is a risk of breaking an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, when you're putting data in places that you no longer control confidential data. If you're working with any customer data, like a big spreadsheet of information, you have to be careful about how you use that. So one of the best ways I find to overcome that is to run a more localized or contained AI model. And Google has a very good tool to show that called Notebook LM. So can I walk through an example of how we might use Notebook LM?
Yeah, that would be very nice. And also, I guess the pretty thing about Notebook LM is like you were just mentioning ChatGPT or Gemini in Excel spreadsheet, you can utilize it on multiple documents at the same time, right?
That's right.
Okay,
So let me launch Notebook LM here and show you what that looks like.
let's see.
So here's an example of the Notebook LM screen that
Hmm.
comes up. You can simply access this from typing Notebook LM Google, and it comes up with this. Assuming you have a Gmail account, you can use this. Now, we do have our pro version at OpenJar, but again, this is anyone have access to Notebook LM, even on a free version of Google, or sorry, Google Gmail. So if you have your Gmail, then that's all you need to use this. Notebook LM is a very interesting tool that's been making a lot of noise lately on a lot of social media, and it's was originally designed as a research tool for students to do their
Hmm.
research, predominantly college university students. But people have learned to use this tool in a much more innovative and creative way, as I have as well. So one of the things which is important to learn about Notebook LM is you give it the sources to look at, rather than if you were to ask ChatGPT what something, ChatGPT will go to the general internet of information, gather all the knowledge like we did with the letter that we drafted earlier, and write the letter for you.
Hmm.
Notebook LM, if you ask it questions, you can contain it to look at only the relevant information that you've given it instead of going out to the general internet. So that kind of automatically creates a little safety barrier. So you can keep your documents only within your Notebook LM account instead of sharing it with everyone else. Um, Unlike when ChatGPT, if you ask it a question, the question you ask it becomes more knowledge for ChatGPT, because then if the next person were to ask the same question, ChatGPT will come back with
Hmm.
now a better answer based on, oh, Kin asked me that one question the first time, and if Eric asked me the same question, the ChatGPT becomes smarter because it's been trained on Kin's information.
Hmm.
So you got to be careful about what you put in, what you type in. So here in Notebook LM, um, the way we add information to have it do the research is to simply push the add button. And you can see here, it allows you to upload a bunch of sources, which includes Google Docs, Google Slides, websites, YouTube, or any copy text. This is actually one of the most powerful because now you can take pretty much any text file and just dump it into there.
Hmm.
Now, you notice that it actually doesn't deal with spreadsheets. There's no XLS or Google Sheets.
Hmm.
And the way we would do something like that is go back to our previous demonstration data. I
Hmm.
simply do a download to a PDF and export it, save it. And then if I add that file from my own drive, so if I add that file from my own drive, there's the data file that was in PDF
Hmm.
format. And now it's already given me the source here. So if I now ask it a question from the random manufacturing data file, show me the highest voltage and what day it occurred. So right away you can see the
Hmm.
answer. So it actually sifted through that same 1,000 lines of data and came up with the answer. But this data file is only within my notebook, Google's Notebook LM account. It is
Yeah.
not shared to the general internet. And
Yeah.
when I ask a question, it was still able to come up with that information, right? Just like it did within the Google Sheets example. But
Hmm.
here, what I can do too is, let's say I have this set of data. I have maybe some specifics about machine maintenance schedule. I have some
Hmm.
specifics about holidays or staff or which days they work. I can now start to combine multiple data sources in here and have Notebook LM start to look at the amalgamation of all that information. So I can ask a question like, you know, based on the day that Kin was working, did the voltage variation increase or decrease
Hmm.
based on Kin's attendance? You can start looking at correlations like that now, which is very, very powerful. And this is a very good way to start again doing more data. Or hey, we can always ask this to write me a report based on the data that's presented. If I have more information that we put in here. So again, the AI is a very accessible and easy way for people to get into using it in their daily tasks to either save time or money.
Okay. And this actually is becoming the basis of the EMS utilizing this kind of data set as a little bit more powerful tool, because it's not only now to writing letters or analyzing one specific data set. This tool allows the people working in the manufacturing to have a little bit more extensive view on something, because you can put a lot of different sources, which for you going through would take you a lot of time and maybe not so much very good value out of that. But with that tool, it can be a very good basis for that, right? So this is.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think the value proposition is very high because it's either
Mhm.
going to save you time or save you money in your operation. Again, the other thing too is as we touched on earlier, is it empowers your whole team to be acting as one rather than specific teams. Like you don't have to rely on your IT team or engineering team to do specifics.
Mhm.
Anyone can pretty much do all this, ask these questions. So it's also a time saver. I remember in one example, I'm just going to stop this right now first. We're going to edit this part out. I remember in one example situation where we were having an hour weekly meeting within our various teams to look at specific information that the production team was collecting. But imagine a situation with AI if the production team was just putting all the information into our Notebook LM. Anyone can ask those questions without having to spend the hour sitting together in a
Yeah.
boardroom looking at this information together. So imagine how much of a time saver that is,
Yeah.
and being able to get the information very quickly as you need it.
So it is a way for the EMSs even start using Notebook LM as this kind of AI brain.
That's definitely right. And yes, and as we have seen in some of the marketing work that we've done, branding your company to embrace AI is a
Mhm.
very powerful way to really open some doors that clients want to look for. Because as we mentioned in one of our earlier episodes, if you're not embracing AI, you're already falling behind.
Okay. And that's a perfect closure for this episode. So thank you very much. We glanced through those three tools, interactive. So OpenJar goes interactive now. And then we're going to continue this path. And also, we're going to take a deeper dive and with some real cases in the next episodes for the manufacturing and utilizing AI over there. Ken,
Yeah,
thank you very much for today.
I'm excited to explore more and showcase more of what Notebook LM can really do. We've only touched on the surface of it. Notebook LM is super powerful. It is my favorite tool right now, but we'll bring up some more examples in a future episode to talk more about this.
Yeah. And maybe if someone has a specific question of utilizing that tool, that will be wonderful. Drop it in and we'll see you on the next episodes. Ken,
You
thank you.
bet. Thank you. Yeah, I hope that people will subscribe to our Spotify and YouTube channels to keep following this podcast. So, as Eric said, drop us a question about what topic you want to see next, and then we'll definitely dig into more of this. We're happy to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
And stopping.